Welcome to the Crimson Engine. My name is Rubidium. Today we are looking at getting your lights and, if you're brave enough, your camera into impossible, hard to reach and inaccessible locations. I have multiple times in my career been in a position where what should be a really straightforward shoot and an easy place to place lights turns into a nightmare because you can't get the lights far away enough from the stand to keep the stand and the lights out of the shot. You end up having to do multiple takes and different levels of coverage and, squeeze a shoot tighter than you want to just because, for instance, these lights are right here. If I drop them by a couple of inches, they're going to wind up in the frame. The typical light stand and the typical C stand only give you about 3.5 feet of reach, and only about, if you get the big ones, only about 8 feet of height. And of course, the more takes you do, with the more setups you do, the less chance you have of the whole sequence cutting together smoothly. Bigger budget productions don't really worry about this. They have a 10-ton grip truck that they can, throw up rigging, throw up cranes, throw up all kinds of things with, an army of grips and electricians to deal with it. Independent film, on the other hand, does have a couple of good options. The one that I looked at was the minimax arm. This one is just over $1,000, but you can rent it for around $35 in LA, New York, and some of the other big filmmaking markets on things like ShareGrid. And the minimax arm will put your light 16 feet in the air and up to 9 feet from the base. This is with a maximum payload of 44 pounds or around 20 kilos. This is the Lightcloth Mega from Intelitech. It only weighs about 5 pounds, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get it pretty easily at full extension. This is a huge 3.5 by 5 feet source, and it creates a really wide pool of light that is still really soft, but is definitely top down. I also played around with putting the grid on it. It's a 30-degree grid, so it just comes straight down from 10 feet and illuminates a perfect little pool of light. All of this from one stand. So if you put this behind camera or next to camera, you're really going to be able to shoot almost 360 degrees, say 300 degrees from your subject without showing the stand. And if you have the grid on like I did and wrap the stand in black duvetine, you're probably going to be able to shoot 360 degrees because the light is so directional that the stand is actually in the dark. This is the kind of setup you used to need a crane for, or some kind of other crazy rig putting up things in trees. This just lets this UFO style light just hang right above your subject. I would probably use this for dinner party scene, where I can shoot 360 or just not bother having to rearrange the lights when I turn around. This also could be cool for something much more dynamic, like a fight scene, where you want to use 2 cameras and shoot both a medium and a wide and shoot both things at once. You do need to weight the Minimax. I put about 20 pounds of sandbags on it, one on both legs and one on the base. Every time I was adjusting it, I kind of gave it the shake test where you put something on it and then kind of push it to see if it's stable, put something else on it, push it to see if it's stable. You could also put the camera on this. I tried with the 5D Mark III and got a pretty great 15 foot in the air kind of drone shot. It did take a lot of guessing because the arm moves in an arc. If you put it on here and you put it in the air, then it's not going to be facing the way you started. So I ended up raising it up and then getting a ladder and adjusting it once it was up there. You could also make this easier and add remote control to your camera by putting it on the end of a gimbal, like a Ronin S, or any remote head that lets you adjust the perspective, aim the camera and start and stop it from the ground. Like I said before, there is a big brother of the Minimax called the Max Menace arm. This can lift 175 pounds and go 20 feet in the air, but it is a bigger piece of equipment. It does need 2 people. You don't need to be a grip or a trained film person to use the Minimax, though I really do recommend you starting slow and having someone else check everything that you're doing, because even though it's not the Max Menace arm, that amount of weight dropping or failing from on high is best case scenario damage your set and your lights, and worst case scenario really injure somebody. The Minimax and the Menace arm are great ways to get your lights really, really high. Just exercise a margin of safety when you're using these kind of equipment, and start small, gain confidence, and work safely. That's my look at getting your lights and cameras into very difficult positions. Hope that helps someone out there. There are links to all this gear in the description. Leave your questions in the comments, and I will see you next time.